a deal breaker.
Well, it'd be a deal breaker for anyone, left and right, no question.
Except it wasn't, because he already tried to do it, and the right was like, no big deal, no big deal.
I don't think that's...
It was a giant deal.
Yeah, I don't... So you don't call Trump Hitler, and you don't call the Republicans Nazis, but when you say the word fascist, as you say, the meaning of that word has been eroded. That's where most people's minds is going to go, right?
So what do you guys tell me, what should I call his obvious dictatorial tendencies?
Today, we're diving into a heated debate. Could Trump's return mean a shift toward authoritarianism? Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks and the hosts of TRIGGERnometry clashed over Trump's past actions, fascism, and what's at stake for democracy. Let's break this down and talk about what it all means. Let's get into it.
And his obvious over-the-top racism.
You know what? Actually, this is a really great question, because what I'd love for you to do is, and this is a genuine question, I'm not trying to catch you out or anything like that. I genuinely am interested. I have heard a lot of rhetoric from people about Donald Trump and the concerns that they have about the next 4 years. And, you know, people use words like fascist, dictatorial, etc. What do you fear over the next 4 years he is going to do that makes you say in the present moment that he's dictatorial, fascist? What is he going to do you think?
Yeah. So again, I don't know that he's going to do it, because there's countervailing forces.
What do you fear?
And I think the countervailing forces are super interesting, and we should talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see which way the right wing goes in this country under Trump. But the worst case scenario is he gets frazzled and feels challenged, and he falls back on what he always does, which is just protect his ego. And so he starts pilfering, and that's very much in his nature. Grab, take, because now there's no accountability. What are you going to do? Impeach him? What are you going to do? Arrest him? No accountability. There's no brakes in the car. So we're all at his mercy.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important for clarity. What do you mean by pilfering? He's going to be pilfering and pilfering.
Okay, so easy examples, but there's a million of these. He puts Jared Kushner in charge of the Middle East last time around, and Saudi Arabia. Jared Kushner at some point goes to Saudi Arabia, talks to Mohammed bin Salman, and right afterwards, Mohammed bin Salman arrests a whole bunch of people. Okay, I don't want to get into too much into what happened in that meeting and what the results were, but whatever it was, Mohammed bin Salman was super pleased, because right after the election, he gives Jared Kushner $2 billion to manage. But he gets 2 and 20 on that. So if you know private equity and how that works, what that means is he's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. So if Hunter Biden got a $2 billion deal from the Saudis after Joe Biden left office, I was like, Hunter Biden's not a Ukrainian gas expert. That's nuts. Okay, and that was $5 million.
So your fear number one is that his family will benefit financially from his president, and him will benefit.
Here's where things really heat up. Cenk raises a critical point about Trump's financial dealings, like Jared Kushner's $2 billion Saudi deal, and contrasts it with the scrutiny Hunter Biden faced for far less. It's hard not to see the double standard here, but the bigger issue isn't just about corruption, it's about whether Trump's actions signal something more dangerous, like authoritarianism. Do these examples show a pattern of self-interest and disregard for accountability, or is this just typical political behavior blown out of proportion? Let's dig deeper into this.
Financially.
And his donors, most of all his donors.
And his donors.
What else?
Okay, so that's, but to be fair to Trump, like part of the reason the establishment hates him is because he's systemically and personally corrupt, whereas they're just largely systemically corrupt.
I'm accepting all this for the sake of argument without challenging, because I just want you to get to like the real fascism that he's going to do that you worry
So the
about.
reason I'm saying that is because since most of the politicians are systemically corrupt anyway, that's not the fascism
That's
I'm
my
referring
point.
to. Yeah.
So where's the fascism?
So he says, I'm going to deport all the undocumented immigrants. So some people might say, yeah, good. Rip them out of their homes, 13, 15 million people, whatever it is. Oh, they're running a diner. They're beloved in their neighborhood. They married an American citizen. Whatever they did, I don't care. And, their kids are American citizens. Rip them away from their babies and send them the goddamn back home. Now, that's a debatable point as to whether that's fascism. My guess is that if he starts doing it, and you start seeing people ripped out of their homes, that people are going to go, that don't look good.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're going to find out. He might not. We're going to find out.
But if he was to, let's say, I think the more likely scenario, I don't know if you agree with Cenk, but I think it's possible that this is the more likely scenario, is he deports all the people who've committed a crime in this country who are illegal immigrants, right? People not only came here illegally, but have committed a crime, and people who don't have American family and don't have dependents here. Let's say he was to deport all those people. Would that be fascism in your view?
If you're finding this breakdown interesting and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Your support really helps me bring more discussions like this to the channel. Let's get back to the video.
I don't even know if he deported all the undocumented immigrants, it would be fascism. I'm not even stipulating
okay,
to
so
that.
let's get to the fascism, though, because this is what I want to get to, right?
And by the way, people who committed crimes should obviously be deported.
Right.
No one
we agree.
disagrees with that. So then the thing that I'm concerned about is both him and the potential attorney general saying, if you're on a campus and you're protesting Trump, you're protesting Israel, you're protesting the oil companies, you're protesting something we don't like, arrest and deport you. Wait, what happened to cancel culture? I mean, arresting someone for protesting or voicing their speech is the most both cancel culture you could do. I mean, you're taking the guy's freedom away, right?
Yeah, agreed. But
deporting people that are American citizens, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you can't do that. But did he do any of that in his first term?
So he didn't do that. Okay. But so, and that's why I say, guys, when he's running, he threatens to do total complete shutdown of Muslims. Yeah. He threatens to arrest and deport people, etc. But he didn't necessarily do it. So for example, they said, lock her up. And then he got into office and he said, no, I'm not locking Hillary Clinton up. So I have an open mind. But when he threatens those type of things, I go, I am deeply, deeply concerned. Now, here's other things.
Okay.
So they had a 3-hour meeting after he lost the election, where Michael Flynn and I believe Sidney Powell, don't quote me on that, I don't want to get sued, okay, but definitely Michael Flynn said, let's use martial law. Let's roll out the tanks, okay? And we won this election, and we're going to correct the fraud, and let's go grab the actual ballot machines, okay? And Trump was like, okay, now I'm listening. Now we're having a conversation. And that's why it lasted 3 hours.
So
at the end, hold on.
No, hold on. You're talking about something that already happened. I'm asking you about the future. Let's just stick with that.
No, but that's totally relevant.
No, well, I'm sure, which is why I'm asking you the question to follow up. So do you fear that at the end of this 4-year period, he's not going to relinquish power?
This is a pivotal moment in the debate. Cenk is pressing on what could happen if Trump refuses to relinquish power after a second term. It's a chilling thought, especially given his past actions and rhetoric about election fraud and martial law. The hosts seem skeptical, asking if these concerns are overblown since Trump didn't follow through on some of his threats in his first term. But here's the real question. Even if these are just what-ifs, can we afford to ignore the warning signs? Let's unpack what this means and whether the risk is as big as it sounds.
He didn't relinquish power last time. Yes.
Well, ultimately he did, but you fear...
come on, guys.
Fine, let's accept that for the sake of argument again. So you fear that at the end of this 4-year period, when he can no longer run for election again, you fear that he will not hand over the presidency.
A guy who said, let's terminate the Constitution, consider martial law, and had a fake elector plot to steal an election, might he try to stay in power? Of course, he tried to do it once.
Well, that's good. So we got to, so you fear that at the end of this 4-year period, he will not vacate the White House.
That is one of my concerns, absolutely, and that alone is a deal breaker.
Well, it'd be a deal breaker for anyone, left and right, no question.
Except it wasn't, because he already tried to do it, and the right was like, no big deal, no big deal.
I don't think that's
It was a giant deal.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite true. But anyway, that's your big concern.
So that's number one. Number two is, the reason I was telling you about martial law is because he's also said, let's use the military to shoot the protesters in the legs. Let's use the National Guard to arrest citizens, etc. When you're talking about arresting or shooting U.S. citizens and you using the military to do that, because you don't like their protests. And you could be livid about their protests. It doesn't matter.
Sure, it's
we have a right to protest.
Of course.
And when he says that, and he has definitively said that and said it on the record, if you go and do that, now that there are no brakes in the car, and there is no General Milley, and there is no General Kelly, and they're not going to be able to stop him. If he does that, do you guys agree that would be fascism?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So your great concerns are just, to replay it for people, and then I'll hand over to Francis, are number one, at the end of the 4-year term that he currently has, he's not going to hand over the presidency, number one. And number two, he is going to be deeply un-American about the way he handles free speech and the right to protest and the right to free assembly. In other words, he will take protesters and strip them of citizenship. He will have the army shoot them. He will imprison people for turning up on a college campus and burning an American flag, let's say. Those are your two main kind of this is the fascism that might happen. Have I got you right?
That's right. Cool. And I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm saying he has said those.
And that's where this intense debate leaves us. with a lot of questions about Trump's past actions and what they could mean for the future. Whether you side with Cenk and his concerns about authoritarianism or the TRIGGERnometry host's more skeptical view, it's clear this is an issue that stirs up strong opinions. I want to hear your take. Do you think Trump's return poses a real threat to democracy, or is this all overhyped? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Your support and feedback help me grow and bring you more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.